It has been a year, and so to mark the end of it, I'm going to make something decadent, comforting, and classy. These black and white patterned royal icing sugar cookies. I'm Micah and I'm going to impart some cookie wisdom from the Southern Living Test Kitchen, in addition to showing you how to make this elegant pattern for yourself. One of the best tips that I can give you for making professional looking sugar cookies is to chill the cookie dough after you've punched out the shapes and put them on the baking sheet. All the time that it takes and the hands-on contact of rolling out the cookie dough, punching it out, and putting the shapes onto a baking sheet allow the butter in the cookie dough to soften. And so if I put these in the oven right now, the edges are gonna kind of flatten a little bit because the butter will melt quicker. But if I put these in the fridge for 30 to 60 minutes before baking, I ensure that that cold butter going into the oven doesn't have as much time to pool out before the cookie sets, meaning the edges of my cookie will be nice and defined, which is one of the key steps to making a professional looking cookie. Before I keep going on, subscribe to the Southern Living YouTube channel by clicking the button below so you don't miss any other videos like this one in the future. The next best tip that I can give you is to bake your cookies the day before you decorate them. That way they dry out almost completely on the surface so that the royal icing going onto the surface of the cookie doesn't come in contact with any moisture from the cookie. It just helps make sure that your royal icing sets and that it looks really nice. A New Year cookie is different than a Christmas cookie because we're not looking for bright, vibrant colors. We're looking for sparkly, glittery things, silvers, whites, golds, and blacks, to make a classy way to celebrate the coming of the new year. For decorating my cookie, I have royal icing. When you do royal icing, you have to have two different consistencies. The firmer one, which is about the consistency of toothpaste to pipe around the border, and then the thinner one that fills in the borders that you've piped on the cookie. These two together make a smooth, unbroken surface and a really, really elegant looking cookie. Additionally, I have this tube of a sparkling black gel icing. Any sort of black icing would work. And I'm gonna use this to show you how to pipe stripes onto the royal icing before it sets and use a toothpick to make a really elegant looking black and white pattern. One more tip that's really helpful. While you're working, when you're not using one of these bags of icing, if you've already snipped the end and have a piping tip on it, is to put it inside a wet towel. And by putting the wet towel on the counter and resting the tip of a piping bag in it, you can close it, and that moisture in the wet towel prevents the royal icing at the tip of the piping bag from drying and hardening out, making piping harder as you go on. So have this on your counter, ready to go, and you can start working on your cookies. To do our first cookie, you're gonna take your thicker royal icing and simply pipe a nice even rope of this thicker icing all around the edge. You want it to be a continuous and unbroken strand, like so. And then you take your thinner royal icing and you simply flood the cookie with this. And you can take a toothpick and just move the icing around so that it fills in all of those gaps. The thicker royal icing around the edge prevents this thinner icing from falling over. So when it dries, it will look like one solid, perfectly stopped layer at the edge of your cookie. But while it sets now, you'll be able to see the difference between the thicker icing and the thinner icing. You can pick up the cookie and lightly drop it against the counter, and that pops any of the bubbles that are inside the royal icing that would bubble to the surface and create an uneven, smooth surface. Okay, and then once you've done that a few times, you are ready to begin decorating. To make a lovely houndstooth effect, I'm gonna take my black gel icing and just pipe straight lines across the royal icing like this. And then take a clean toothpick and simply run down the icing like this, wiping off the toothpick each time. And there you have a beautiful houndstooth New Year's cookie. And we're gonna set this aside to dry. If you've enjoyed the video that you've seen today, subscribe to the Southern Living YouTube channel, where you're sure to find other videos just like this one that we know you'll enjoy. Thanks so much. Bye.